Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on really a fascinating journey into the latest world building from a true master storyteller using the source material you gave us.
Indeed. Yeah, our sources today give us an exclusive look into Stephen King's new novel, Never Flinch. It just hit shelves May 27, 2025, from Scribner.
It's a really compelling one. We're not just, looking at a new book. We're peeling back the layers here to explore how King continues the saga of Holly Gibney.
Right, one of his most beloved recurring characters.
Exactly. She started way back in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, evolved through The Outsider, If It Bleeds.
And then really took center stage in Holly.
Right, in Holly, just recently. So our mission today is basically to give you a clear shortcut to understanding the core plots, the characters, how they're evolving, and the really powerful themes that make this book quite thought-provoking.
And what's particularly compelling, I think, is how King blends that procedural crime drama with psychological thriller elements. But he's also tackling significant social issues head-on. So you'll find this exploration offers more than just thrills. It's really an urgent look at justice, fanaticism, and, well, what it means to stand your ground.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Holly's now running her own agency, and King throws her right into the deep end with two major cases in Never Flinch, doesn't he?
He does. But before we even get to the plots, I think it's crucial to understand Holly herself, how much she's transformed.
Yeah, good point. She's not the same person we met years ago.
Not at all. She's no longer that hesitant, self-doubting woman. King's really let her mature, She's a seasoned, capable private investigator now, runs her own operation.
That's a huge shift. But what is it about her that King keeps coming back to? What's new with her in Never Flinch?
Well, what's fascinating is he makes sure she keeps those unique quirks, the vulnerabilities, that deep empathy that makes her Holly.
Right, that's her signature.
Exactly. Yeah. But now she's sharper, more resourceful. You see her decisiveness in this novel, but you also get these moments where the emotional baggage from past cases kind of surfaces.
So the past isn't just forgotten.
No, it reminds you of the human cost of her work. It's that mixed new strength and that enduring vulnerability that just keeps you hooked on her character.
I can definitely see that. Okay, so let's get into those narratives. How does King kick things off? Is it a bang or more of a slow burn?
Oh, it's absolutely a bang, a really chilling one. The story opens with this anonymous letter sent to the Buckeye City Police, signed Bill Wilson.
Bill Wilson, okay.
And it immediately sets this terrifying tone. The threat is stark, simple. I will kill 13 innocents and 1 guilty.
Wow. 13 innocents and 1 guilty. That sounds like some kind of twisted code of justice right off the bat. Does Holly have a police contact for this?
She does. Detective Izzy Janes. She's grounded, determined, very pragmatic. And she senses immediately this isn't random violence.
No, it feels targeted, like there's a specific, if warped, moral justification behind it.
Precisely. Janes is Holly's bridge to law enforcement. And King uses that relationship to contrast, the official police limitations.
The red tape.
Yeah, the red tape. With the freedom and the risks that Holly takes as a PI. And naturally, with pressure mounting from the media, the department, Janes reaches out to Holly.
Because Holly sees things others miss. That combination of empathy and sharp analysis.
That's her reputation, spotting patterns, catching details. She's invaluable in a case like this.
And the Bill Wilson motive, it gets deeper, doesn't it? It's not just random vengeance. King seems to be questioning the justice system itself.
He really is. The investigation reveals the killer's motivation stems from Alan Duffrey. A man convicted of a brutal crime died in prison.
But he was innocent.
Completely innocent. Turns out new evidence, long buried, shows he was framed. The real perpetrator walked free.
So Bill Wilson believes the system utterly failed.
Yes. And believes that everyone involved in condemning Duffrey, jurors, judge, prosecutors, anyone complicit must pay with their lives.
That raises a huge question King is posing. When the system breaks down so badly, who gets to decide what justice looks like? And what happens when someone takes that power?
Exactly. It's a question that, like you said, echoes far beyond the page. And the killer's methods reflect the deliberate, methodical, almost theatrical.
Each move is a statement. Each target symbolic.
Right. So the police and Holly are in this desperate race against time to figure out who's next before that number hits 13.
Okay, so we've got this meticulous theatrical killer raising the stakes incredibly high. Does Holly even get a moment's pause, or does King just pile on the pressure?
Now, King never lets up. Because while this intense hunt for Bill Wilson is going on, this entirely separate but equally intense threat pops up. Kate McKay enters Holly's life.
Kate McKay. Right. And Holly takes on a protection assignment.
Exactly, protecting Kate McKay. A whole different kind of case for her.
Tell us about Kate. She sounds like she'd be quite a handful.
She is. She's a high-profile feminist activist, described as blunt, uncompromising. She's on a national speaking tour, advocating for women's rights, social reform.
So bound to attract attention, both positive and negative.
Definitely. Her speeches draw adoration, but also fury from opponents, particularly extremist groups with deep ideological, even religious motivations.
And she's getting threats.
Escalating threats for months, online harassment, disturbing mail, even suspected physical surveillance. Someone seems to be preparing to act.
So she needs protection, but she's not backing down from her tour.
No, she's unwilling to cancel. So she hires Holly as a personal bodyguard. Yeah. And this is totally new territory for Holly. The work is close, intimate, unpredictable.
Having to watch crowds constantly, looking for multiple potential threats.
Exactly. And Kate isn't just a passive client either. She's actively involved in her own defense, questioning Holly's methods sometimes. Adds this really interesting, sometimes tense dynamic between them.
So King masterfully alternates these two threads. The vengeance plot, the stalking plot, both building tension. How does he start to weave them together?
Well, the intersection is subtle at first. You might not even notice it initially. But the closer Holly gets to the truth in both cases, the clearer it becomes that they're somehow connected. A collision is inevitable.
Interesting. And you mentioned King uses this convergence to explore fanaticism.
Yeah, it's a powerful theme he's exploring. How rigid belief systems, whether they're tied to this vigilante's idea of justice or the extremist targeting Kate, can twist ideology into violence. You see mirrors of it in both threats.
Which must make the climax incredibly potent.
Oh, absolutely. It unfolds during this major public event where Kate is speaking, and the vigilante, Bill Wilson, is believed to be operating nearby, too.
So everything converges. Crowds, media, security.
And this unseen danger weaving through it all. The atmosphere is just electric. Holly's forced into making split-second decisions. Life or death consequences with every choice.
While still trying to piece together that final puzzle piece.
Exactly. And look, we won't spoil the exact outcome, but the ending delivers both that high-stakes action King is known for, but also real moral complexity.
True to the title, Never Flinch, Holly faces the fear.
She does. But the cost of her choices, that lingers. It stays with you well after you finish the book.
It sounds like this deep dive into Never Flinch really highlights how it's more than just a standard crime thriller.
Definitely. King packs so much more into it.
So, stepping back from the plot itself, what are the big takeaways for us, the reader? What themes really resonate?
Well, beyond the thrilling story and that cinematic feel, the book really digs deep into several powerful ideas.
Like what?
First, there's guilt and justice. It really pushes you to ask, when the system fails, who decides what justice looks like?
And the consequences of those decisions.
Right. Retribution versus actual justice. Then there's fanaticism. King brilliantly shows how rigid beliefs, any kind of rigid belief, can just curdle into violence. We see it starkly with Kate McKay's storyline, and it feels incredibly relevant today.
Very timely.
And then moral ambiguity. The book shows that even seemingly good decisions can have these complex, unintended costs. It leaves you grappling with difficult choices right alongside Holly.
It's not black and white.
Not at all.
Okay.
There's also trauma and healing. You see how survivors respond to violence, how it shapes their future.
Yeah.
That runs right through Holly's own development as a character.
And finally,
Empowerment. Ultimately, Holly's journey is about the strength of agency, of careful preparation, and just that refusal to yield to fear. She embodies the title Never Flinch. It's a powerful message of resilience.
it really sounds like a fast-paced, almost cinematic read, but one that blends that procedural realism with some serious psychological depth and social critique. So we've taken a real deep dive today into Stephen King's Never Flinch, exploring those intricate plot lines, the vigilante killer, the protection of the feminist activists.
And how they inevitably converge in that high-stakes climax. Yeah.
We've also tracked Holly Gibney's evolution. She's confident, capable, but still has that core empathy.
Absolutely. And we've unpacked those weighty themes. Justice, fanaticism, moral choices, the power of agency. They really resonate throughout the whole narrative.
Okay, so as you reflect on this exploration, here's maybe a final provocative thought for you to mull over. In a world where systems can fail and where beliefs can become weapons, What's the ultimate responsibility of the individual? Not just to act, but maybe to consider the full, lingering cost of their choices.
Something to think about. Keep thinking, keep exploring. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.